Hello and welcome to the Indian Child Welfare Act training. I'm Bill Harris, Chief of the Catawba Indian Nation. South Carolina is rich in Native American heritage, and you play an important part of keeping that heritage vital. The training in this package includes a guide for complying with ICWA and a comprehensive list of when you should ask the question about whether a child coming into care is Native American or has Native American heritage. Keeping these children connected to their tribal family strengthens their sense of belonging and safety, supports our cultural life, and opens access to services that can greatly improve the child's well-being. The training also includes a film about the Catawba people. We currently reside on part of our ancestral lands near Rock Hill. We'd like you to come to know us better. By knowing about our ancient and proud heritage and understanding our quest for cultural vitality, you'll better understand your state and its history. You'll better understand why ICWA exists and why your compliance is so important. And you'll get a glimpse into our thriving culture that you may not have seen before. Thank you for your time and for all you do for the children of South Carolina. We're glad to be in the partnership with DSS, and we hope one day you'll come up to visit us and get to know us in person. Our door is open.
The Indian Child Welfare Act of 1973, usually called ICWA, is a foundational law that protects Native American children from separation from their tribal culture. This video will ground you in ICWA best practices and show you why this law is so important to our children and our tribes. The Federal Indian Child Welfare Act, often shortened to ICWA, is the foundational law that protects Native American and Alaskan Native children from removal and alienation from Native families. It's a simple law to follow. Even so, caseworkers often fail to follow it.
Why is ICWA important to Catawba? Well, it's not only important to Catawba, it's important to all of Indian country because it is about keeping that culture alive. If you take Indian babies, take them out and raise them in another culture, then you just actually took away a generation within the Native community. So you have lost a generation of culture. So keeping those children within Indian country is what's keeping the culture alive. ICWA was there to protect the Native country and to keep their culture alive. If you're going to enter into the foster program with a Native child, then allow that child to be aware that it has a culture and allow them to participate in it.
You may be wondering why Native American tribes and Alaska Natives are given special rights. It's because Native tribes were almost wiped out during America's settlement and Western expansion. Many Native children were forcibly removed from their families and re-educated in order to hasten the destruction of Native cultures. ICWA is one remedy for the near extinction of American Indian cultures and peoples. The purpose of ICWA is to protect the best interest of Indian children and promote the stability of Indian tribes and families.
Well, my most favorite quote that I embraced thoroughly is, if you don't know where you come from, how do you know where you're going? And if you don't know where you're going, how will you know when you get there? And if our Catawba children don't know where they come from, they don't know where they're going.
Tribes across the country are growing again, strengthening their cultures. They are vital parts of local communities. ICWA is one support for them. The benefits of connection between child and tribe can be great and life-changing.
The strengths I feel would be how we're all connected. We're all one big family. Everyone's related some kind of way. We're all cousins somewhere down the line. Everyone knows everyone. We know where everyone lives. We know what everyone drives. So it's a really strong community connection. And it's almost like you have a whole team behind you. So that's a great feeling.
Understanding that Native American tribes are vital and ready to connect with social services is crucial. There are many concrete benefits for children. You are the one who makes this connection possible. And in order for this connection to happen, you must know and follow the law. What does ICWA require a DSS child welfare worker to do? First, they must ask whether any child the agency has contact with is Native American, Alaska Native, or has Native American heritage. Workers are required to ask the question about a child's Native heritage at intake, and the question is usually very direct. Do you know if the child is Native American or has Native American heritage? But at intake, the reporter may not know the child's racial or ethnic background, so we can't expect intake to be the only time the question is asked. At this point and other points in the case, you may need to probe with additional questions to get a definitive answer. For example, during investigations, foster care, and family preservation, there are a number of ways of asking the question that may lead you to a definitive answer. You could ask, does the family have any connections to the Catawba tribe here in South Carolina? Is there a family member who knows the family history who might know about any Native American heritage? Does anyone on either side of the child's family claim Native American ancestry? Review the handout for a list of ways to ask the question that may lead you to a definitive answer and help prevent Native children from falling through the cracks. During any point in the case, you can follow up on possible leads from your probing questions and talk to more than one family member who may know more about a child's background. It's important to keep asking until you get a definitive answer.
We have to ask the question by several different people at different times. If we don't, we may miss children that are covered by ICWA.
And you can't assume heritage based on appearances. People who identify as Native American can look many different ways. You must ask the question about every child or youth that comes into contact with the agency through child welfare services. If we don't ask and get this information, then DSS is in violation of federal law. DSS seeks to be 100% compliant with all federal laws and statutes. DSS also works for the best interest of the child. Failing to ask the question by the time a child reaches adoptions can also lead to disaster if a child moves into a permanent placement without being connected to their tribe of origin. Why? Uniquely, American Indian tribes have the same rights as a child's parents. If a child from a certain tribe comes into care, that tribe must be notified immediately, regardless of the wishes of the parents. America's tribes have the legal right to decide how member children are connected with the tribe as a whole. The tribes have the right to place their children with tribal families if they choose. They may not be able to, or wish to, given the circumstances of a case, but by law, they must have the option of placing the child with a tribal family. Adoptions of Native children have been reversed when it's found that agencies fail to identify children with Native American heritage, and those children have been placed with non-Indians without reference to the tribe. This is emotionally destructive for the child, as well as the potential adoptive parents and birth parents. It also violates the rights of Native Americans. So at the point of planning for permanency, you should ask once again to make certain of a child's heritage. A caseworker should immediately take action if the youth or a family member shares information indicating possible affiliation with a federally recognized tribe. Don't hesitate, delay, or procrastinate. We also can ask youth who come into care about their own heritage. They may remember someone in the family talking about it. You could ask a youth, when you think about your family, did anyone in your family or extended family talk about being Native American or Catawba? Due diligence when researching a child's background can make a world of difference for our children and our tribes.